I have been feeling like super overwhelmed the past week or two. Part of it is just like end of semester and work related, but then also I've been seeing people like almost every day for the past 2 weeks, and I'm the kind of person who needs like a lot of time alone in order to be able to function as any sort of human being. So it is Tuesday. This will be the last day of work at the newspaper, like in a big capacity for the next like week or so. So I finished editing a YouTube video this morning. I've done part of final checks for the newspaper. I'll be finishing those tonight, but it won't take more than an hour or so. And so I've decided the rest of today and then the next couple days are going to be a really gentle, calm, doing things that I want to be doing alone for the most part, in order to like recharge and become a real live human being again. I do have a couple of social things coming up, just like 3 in the next week, which to somebody else might not sound like a lot, but that is a lot for me. And then tomorrow I have 2 meetings to attend, but otherwise I am pretty free for the next like week and a bit. And so I'm going to get my garden in order, which is really exciting. I'm going to get some sewing projects done, and I have a little bit of knitting that I want to do as well. I think for the rest of today though, before I do like the final checks tonight, there is a little project that I've been wanting to work on that is going to end up in my shop. So I think I'm going to do a bit of that right now. I don't know about you, but more and more I seem to find myself in this continual cycle of overwhelm. It sometimes feels like I'll have to deal with this forever, reactively isolating myself to calm my frayed nervous system down before coming back to a grounded center that feeds into itself like an Ouroboros. But what I'm realizing about myself is that with every cycle, I know myself a little bit better. I catch myself before I'm in over my head, and I do what I need to do to feel okay again. I'm still doing a lot, but I'm slowly cutting out the unnecessary bits, other people's wants and expectations mostly. Not entirely, of course. I am a helper at heart, but I'm being more conscious of what I say yes to in context for what I actually have the time and energy for. Before we get too far into this, I want to acknowledge that in my last video, I talked about taking responsibility for how we spend our time. While this was in relation to monotasking, I think this translates into overwhelm and putting too much on our plates too. There is no doubt about it. I'm the kind of person who piles things into my life until I'm drowning in them. I've always been this way, and while I know this says something about me, perhaps that I jam my days so full that I'm avoiding feeling or thinking about something, or avoiding just existing for some reason, I also know that it's up to me to dismantle this way of living and try to find more balance in what I do. Now, I can go on and on about being overwhelmed, but like I just said, we need to take responsibility for our lives. And so, at least in the short term, I have done just that for myself. In about a month, I'll have the entire spring and summer off, something I started planning and saving for last year. I know cutting everything out isn't feasible in the long run, not financially, socially, or for our general health. I understand that I need to see people and be part of a community to be a healthy, happy person, as does everyone. No one can stay in solitude forever, even if they want to. But I also know that I thrive in periods of unstructured time where I can focus on my personal projects. And I do love being alone. I love the silence and the spaciousness and the opportunity to do whatever I feel like doing in the moment. Luckily, as someone who's currently self-employed, I have the flexibility to do this at this point in time. But I also recognize that not everyone has the freedom to do this. I know I haven't always been able to. And in those times when taking time off isn't an option, I try to do this on a smaller scale. So cut out one responsibility or social experience a week, wake up a little bit earlier to spend some quiet moments with myself. It is all about finding ways to make a slower life work for you. Just to be clear, taking time off does not extend to these videos. I cannot put into words how much joy I get from creating these little entries for you, and besides, they actually energize me rather than drain me. In fact, with the extra time I have in this coming season, I may just make a few extra videos each month. We'll see. that is the beauty of making space in our lives. Less overwhelm, sure, but more space to do what we love. Okay, I just got back from the garden center and I probably bought more seeds than I needed to, but I also restrained myself, so like I don't actually know if I bought too many seeds. I did look at my seeds before I left, so I know that I didn't buy doubles of anything, but now that I'm looking at what I bought and I'm looking at like what's in my seed box, I realize that I have a lot of seeds, and so I guess I'll either be planting a lot of different things, or I'll be giving seeds to someone else, or I'll save them for next year. I don't really know yet. It's still March, we'll figure it out. But I wanted to show you what I did get, and a lot of the things I wanted to plant I already had seeds for, but these things I did not have, so I'm very excited about this. So I got kale, some dwarf blue curled, ? I've never had it before, but I needed kale seeds, so that one looked nice. I got anise, which I have had before and I'm very excited to grow again. Sweet basil, definitely had this before. Very excited to have this again. Got oregano. Last year or the year before, I planted some oregano that was like weirdly spicy, and I don't remember what variety it was, so I'm really hoping it was not this one because that was like a little bit much. And then I got some thyme because I've actually never grown thyme before. I always just buy it from the grocery store, but I'd rather like grow it myself and then also dry it myself, so doing that this year. Calendula I am obsessed with, and I planted like 4 seed packs last year, but I completely ran out of seeds, so I got more. These two were not on the list, but I do want to grow more flowers, and so I'm really excited about these. So I got these California poppies. I do already have California poppies, but I don't have the variegated kind, and these ones are really pretty. They're called mission bells. I've never actually heard of that before, so, but I'm not too worried. Poppies are really easy to grow. And then I got these snapdragons. I actually am quite certain I already have snapdragon seeds, but I know that the ones I had were like more of a yellowy orange. And this one it's called Rainbow Mix, but the packaging looks like red, fuchsia, bubblegum pink kind of mix. It's really pretty, and I am excited to do these. And then this, actually no, this was on the list. I have decided I want to grow onions. So I think I'm going to do some here and then some at my grandparents' farm. I'm doing a bunch of stuff over there, including like potatoes and lavender and calendula. And so I think I'll plant some here and plant some there. I'm looking outside right now because, so the forecast was supposed to be like 18 degrees and sunny today. And as I was out shopping, it was getting progressively darker, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. And now I'm looking outside and it is absolutely pouring rain. So I don't think I'll be planting my onions today, but it is what it is. Normally I don't mind being rained on, but I haven't been feeling well these last couple days, and being soaking wet outside doesn't really sound like the vibe right now. Oh, and while I was out, I got some more earring hooks. So I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I bought things to make earrings back in the winter, I think December, but I was so busy and doing all these projects, what a characteristic Catherine moment. But last night I pulled the stuff out and I made a couple pairs. I won't show you right now because they're like in a drawer in my closet and I don't want to take them out. But I had these little silver moon charms, and all the hooks I had were gold, and I was like, I don't really want to do silver and gold. So I got these little silver fish hooks today as well. So I think tonight, after my final meeting of the week, thankfully, I will be making those silver moon earrings, and I'm very excited because the other ones turned out perfect. So I'm really, really stoked to see how these turn out as well. Oh, and one more thing before I go for now is, so I have like in my Notion board, I have this like major, huge plant compendium that I made, which has like when to plant it, growing season, medicinal uses, magical uses, basically everything you could think of that you might want to know about a plant. And I'm constantly adding plants to it, whether I've grown them or not. And so I wanted to grow some new things this year, and I couldn't find them in the store, which was kind of sad, but I would love to hear from you, especially if you live in the Pacific Northwest, or specifically gardening zone 8B. because that's the zone that I live in, and so I need planting information for that. But I'm so curious if any of you have ever grown eucalyptus, ginger, mugwort, St. John's wort, passion flower, or valerian. Because I have never grown those. They're on my list. I do want to grow them. I could not find seeds or roots or whatever for them in the garden center. I think I'm gonna have to order them special. But I would love to hear from you if you have grown any of those and you have any intel into like how easy they are to grow, anything like that, because I am starting from scratch here, which is exciting. I like starting from scratch, but it is always helpful to have information from someone who has done it before you. Anyway, my meeting is not for 5 hours. I think I've done everything else that I need to do, and Franklin just knocked a candle off of my desk. Thank you so much, sweet man. Anyway, I have not worked on my novel in a long time, so I think I'm gonna do that for maybe an hour or two, and then just like hang out the rest of the day until my meeting. Hello and good morning. It is Thursday. Yesterday, after I spoke with you last, I did some writing, and then I did pretty much nothing else other than my meeting in the evening, which was like pretty necessary. I didn't realize just how burnt out I had become over the last like few weeks of just like doing so much stuff and working so much. Thankfully, I am at the point in my life where I can allow myself to take breaks. It just seems to come a little too late sometimes. And it's not because I'm like not letting myself take a break. It's more so that I get so excited with what I'm doing and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And maybe if I try to sit down, my brain is going really fast and I'm like excited to work on the things I'm working on. So I think that's why it always gets to a point where I'm like, oh, I really need this break, rather than, oh, I'm going to take a break now. If I have the energy, I have a hard time not working. One thing I wanted to talk to you about in this video was, so I think a few videos ago I mentioned a book that I was reading, which was The School of Essential Ingredients by Erica Bauermeister. And I loved that book so much that I went to the library and I took out another one of her books without actually reading the synopsis. And I just finished that one yesterday, 2 days ago. And it was the exact same thing. It was so, so good. You know when you read a book and you finish the book and you just like sit there and stare at the wall for like 20 minutes because you can't process just like how impactful a book was? That's how I feel about Erica Bauermeister's novels. And that's saying something, because a lot of the time novels that are just about people like living their lives and doing human things don't always appeal to me. I love mystery novels. I love spooky novels. I love novels where like really weird things happen. And so choosing a book that's just about like a regular human life is generally not something I'm going to go towards. Having said that, that does not apply to Erica Bauermeister, for me at least. And just yesterday, after finishing my second book, which was No Two Persons, I put another one on hold, again without reading the synopsis because of who I am as a person, and it came in like right away. So yesterday I went to the library and I got it, and it's called Joy for Beginners, and I think this is one of her earlier books, question mark? Yeah, this one came out in 2011, and I think that was not too long after The School of Essential Ingredients. The one I just read actually came out in, I think, 2023. I really wish that I had the words to describe why her work is so impactful for me, but I don't yet, because I only started reading her like, what, a month and a half, 2 months ago, and Like, every time I read her books, I come away feeling so inspired to write. I think that's what it is her writing style is just so beautiful, and she manages to take subjects that are so, I don't want to use the word mundane because that feels like a negative word in this context, but just regular everyday events, and manages to make them exciting simply through the words she uses, through the sentence structure, through how she ties everything together at the end. I really don't know what it is yet, so I'm gonna have to think about that and come back to it. But finishing No Two Persons was the reason that I actually ended up working on my novel again yesterday, because I've been so busy, and then when I'm not busy, I'm like, oh, I want to do this other thing instead, and I just like wasn't really excited to work on my novel. Both times that I finish, I am so inspired to work on my own novel again. So I just need to figure out what that feeling is and put it in a bottle that I can pull off a shelf anytime that I'm feeling uninspired with my work. It's so nice to find that from an author, just like to find the inspiration in their writing for your own work. And I want to bring this full circle because I started talking about overwhelm at the very beginning of this video, and I want to bring it back. And so these last few days, like, they have been, I'm not going to say busy, but like I have had things to do. There has been enough time alone, and there has been enough just like unstructured time where I don't have tasks that I need to do, that I am starting to feel a lot more human. And so to really get the effects of this, I think I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to spend the next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday just not working, just leaving my days open. I think I have, 2 social engagements, one tonight, one Saturday night. Otherwise, I'm going to read, I'm going to write, I'm going to knit, and I'm going to become a human again so that I can be completely reset for the beginning of the week on Monday. And if it's not too much, I would love to hear what you do when you're feeling overwhelmed. Do you have to, like me, shut yourself out from the world and just be a toad in your house? Do you feel better when you go and see people? Do you want to go for a run? Do you like swimming? Like, I know a lot of people like to do like physical activity when they're feeling overwhelmed. I like going for walks, but it is not my first choice. My first choice is to turn off my phone and lie on the floor and maybe read something. But yeah, let me know what you do when you're overwhelmed. I would love to hear. Anyway, I have yammered on long enough this morning, so I'm gonna cut this off here. But thank you, as always, for watching, and I will see you next time.